Alright, so going for top 16 of Atlas mini tournament with Blacephalon deck. So far it's been successful. Lost only 2 games. And this is the game for, the top cut, playing versus Eternatus. Have a lot of expectation going on with this deck. So the first things first, I'm gonna get myself as many energies as I can get. Obviously, I do have Welder, so the worst thing that can happen, I can go with the Cramorant, obviously. Snipe for 160 on the bench if I get lucky. We shall see. Quick Ball would be awesome. Probably I will go for Reshizard. There it is. So I'm thinking about Reshizard. He can take the knockout, but I'm also thinking about Blacephalon as well. So for Blacephalon, I need to discard 2 energies as well additionally. So I'm gonna get for now that Reshizard. But also I do have Cramorant and Oricorio, so really tough decision to be made. I'm gonna go for that snipe. Not gonna be actually a snipe, but at least 160 damage, possibly. Or maybe not. Alright. At least right now I have Welder away from, Reshizard, plus Welder away from maybe Cramorant if that Crashing Hammer happens, so I can still hit for like 200 or 160 depending on my opponent hand and size, but at least I know that he will go with the Research for 7, which basically means that this time he might not be able actually to get the Boss's Order play, which is good for me, obviously, because I can promote Cramorant, hit with it, and pretty much stay with him in the active position in case if he knocks me out. Or I can potentially just swing for like 230 with the Reshizard as well and simply knock the Eternatus Wii out, which will lead me to really comfortable position. So there is a Quick Ball, which might be for another Crobat, so he really needs to dig out that Eternatus Wii Max, otherwise this is not going to be good for him. And there is a Spiritomb as well. Overall, I think that if he misses to evolve into Eternatus VMAX right now, then he can always just, retreat to something else, but there is Eternatus VMAX. But again, if he knocks me out, I'm just gonna step in the front with the Cramorant and grab myself 3 more cards with Oricorio, and hopefully I'm gonna find a way to get that Blacephalon setup in play. So Dreadant for the knockout. Obviously with the Cramorant I can retreat for 1. And the Welder was a top deck, so... okay, luckily I didn't use Oricorio effect, but right now I'm gonna go with it. Just to see what I'm gonna do next. Okay. This is definitely not something that I was expecting, so probably I'm just going to Quick Ball one of those Welders away. I'm gonna go for Blacephalon. Not going to be possible, unfortunately, to knock my opponent Eternatus out, as it looks, but I can hit for like 150 which is decent amount of damage, and that's actually the part of the plan that I'm going to do. How many energies in my discard pile? 2. I can pick 3 of them. Or I can maybe risk and try to pull a one-hit knockout here, basically, but then I'm just gonna lose all of the welders. So for now, I think that's probably not gonna be the smartest thing in the world. As long as my opponent is missing a boss's orders, I'm gonna be perfectly fine here. So let's just hit for 200. There we go. Maybe I should go for like 150 in case of the welder play, but never mind. I could definitely try to knock him out, but then I would probably lose all the welders. Still, I could just recover one of the 4 welders with Eldegossui, obviously. But what if I miss pretty much everything with that Dene play? That wouldn't probably be good enough for me. On the other side, my opponent for now cannot switch or heal with being in a position to knock me out. Or maybe he can with the Hoopa, for example. But in addition to that, he will need 3 more time to play Zigzagoon. And I think that's not going to be possible. Actually, it is possible because he used 2 scoop up nets and he can just play 2 of them. 2 more scoop up nets plus put 1. The most important part right now for my opponent is to get that energy card in play. If he misses energy attachment, game is over. It's pretty simple. Because I will have that boss's orders and probably a way to knock him out. So, as it looks right now, it's really hard for me to think about the next step because I need energy card and I'm thinking about which Pokemon should I put in the front. Probably the Cramorant is the safest option. Those 4 welders really puts me in an uncomfortable position. Still, I can draw some cards with Oricorio when he knocks me out. So Jirachi obviously will go in the front. Hopefully I'm going to pull Switch at least. Yeah. Okay, so top deck, just another Jirachi. Let's go first with the Dance of the Tribute. Interesting. Interesting enough. Safe to say that the next play should be a quick ball into that Blacephalon, and there's only one thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with my I think probably for me the best option is to attack with Reshizard. I can still hit with Cramorant as well, but I'm not sure what I can get with the Cramorant in exchange. I might be able to survive because he will need to discard a lot of Pokemons from his side of the field, so I'm gonna try to go with that Reshizard anyways. If my opponent really wants to win the game here, he will need definitely to do one more thing. And that is obviously to knock my Reshizard out or deal 240 damage. Okay, so everything works perfect. Time for a Double Blaze GX. And he needs to discard 2 Pokemons from the bench. And if he really wants to knock my Reshizard, he is definitely forced to promote that Eternatus, where I can simply return the knockout with my Blacephalon as long as he will not have that Reset Stamp nor Marnie in his hand. And that is really important because as it looks right now, I have at least 5 energy plus Welder in my hand with that Eldegossui. So there is a Crushing Hammer. Alright. So far he hits for 150 only. And there's a build spot. I do also have boss's orders just in case. So I can maybe even boss's orders into the, I don't know, maybe outrage for Eternatus on the bench, maybe for the Crow, but depending on what's gonna happen. As long as there is no Stamp Marnie play, I think that this game is in the bag, but we shall see. It's still far from over, it's safe to say, but so 3 versus 4 prize cards. Really, really, really tough. My hand is good. It's really damn good. So many options. I use my GX, so there's the research. So for now I'm saved from the Marnie. There is a Pokecom, and there should be Eternatus VMAX. And that's already 180 damage, so he needs 2 more Pokemons to close the gap. Will there be enough damage for my opponent? We shall see. Looks like there is not enough damage. Alright. Which means only one thing. If he puts Crobat, interesting. This is really interesting position right now because I can get myself, if I outrage only for 60, that is not even close for being enough for the knockout. Actually, the Crushing Hammer changed everything. Really, it did. Changed everything. I can definitely take the knockout with the outrage and then try to close the gap with my Blacephalon, so that will be the case. $60, but then I need tons of more damage. Nah, that energy should go to Reshizard. That was a misplay. Which means that right now I'm just going for the knockout straight away. How many energies? 7 in discard pile. Not too many fart crystals been used. So outrage looks like a safe play, I should say. So right now, again, he needs 3 more Pokemons in play. 3 extra Pokemon. So he needs 8 Pokemons in total. That's 240. And that's enough for the knockout. Which means 3 extra. Because he have right now 5 of them to play. Boss's orders goes for Blacephalon probably. It does. Okay. Alright, so that's it. We are going with Jirachi straightforward. We do have Switch. We do have Blacephalon. We also can go for 8, 9, 10, 11 energies, and I'm playing like 13, so I'm not gonna risk. I'm just going to shuffle 2 energies back to my deck so I can pick some of them with the energy spinner. Okay, so I did have 2 of them remaining. will play Eldegoss, which should bring me the Welder play. So that energy attachment on Blacephalon was a misplay. But looks like I'm gonna have more than enough resources. I should have more than enough resources. So there is one more energy card left. Alright, so that's 2. That's 4. That's Dance of the Tribute. That is 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 350. Plus I can also Stellar Wish for a bit more. Alright, so that's the GG. Okay, so the game number 1 goes for me. Whew, GG. That was actually intense. Really it was, so... Moving on to the... game number 2. Alright, so good luck to my opponent. So he is going first. Game number 1 was really intense. I mean, definitely luck on my side because I did have that one misplay, but at the end it turns out to be okay. And I'm starting with Cramorantui, which means that I can Spit Shot for 160 one of my opponent Pokemons immediately. So one of his Eternatus can definitely get damage, especially the one that gets energy attached. I have 2 copies of Quick Ball as well in my hand, so I have 2 options. Obviously I'm gonna go with it, then I play, depending on the top deck, I might even go with the Beak Catch. But I'm not sure, we'll see. That Spiritomb definitely helps him a lot. If I manage to avoid from my opponent an energy attachment turn 1, I might go with the Beak Catch, we shall see. So there is a Building Spite. And Scoop Up Net for Zigzagoon, so will be promoted in the front. Spiritomb, okay. 10 damage from my Cramorant, no energy attachment for now, which is really good for me. And there is energy attachment, alright. So definitely I need to find a way to get the Welder and 3 energies on my Cramorant so I can simply hit his Eternatus with energy on it. That's gonna be my play. I just need the Dene, and I do have the Dene. Alright. That's pretty much all I really need. just in case, I will attach energy, in case if I miss it. Not gonna miss it, but the problem is, okay, there is a big problem. Can I expect to be knocked out? Probably. Let me get as many energies as I can, and then I'm just gonna go with the bee catch. Spinners and crystals are in deck, and that's very, very important. All right, so finishing the turn number 1. If my opponent wants to go aggressive here and pull some knockouts, he will definitely need to get himself boss's orders, Eternatus VMAX, or simply Eternatus VMAX with plenty of Pokemons in play. Crush and Hammer Tails. Will there be a research for 7 or not? Let's find out. There is a Scoop Up Net, probably for Zigzagoon. Eternatus is promoted in the front. 10 more damage probably goes to Cramorant, might even go to Jirachi, but really, where's the point putting the damage on Jirachi when it can be simply scooped by the Scoop Up Net? And a research for 7. Alright, as long as there is no reset stamp, I'm gonna probably have return knockout against that Eternatus VMAX for triple price card. And that is so important because my opponent will not have opportunity to return knock me out back probably. Or he might have with the Spiritomb. But as it looks, he won't have enough without 2 more Zigzagoons. Which means that if I somehow manage to stay 1 more turn with Blacephalon, I can try to find boss's orders and simply knock another Eternatus for 3 more prize cards. So there is a quick ball. And there is a Evil Domination Hoopa. Alright, so even with the Hoopa he can deal some damage. Even with the Hoopa he can deal some damage. For example, enough damage for the knockout against Jirachi. I really want to see his bench full of Pokemon, so he might just miss the space for the Zigzagoons, but obviously he is not that naive, we can say. Alright, so I'm just gonna promote Jirachi in the front. First things first, 1 welder for 2. Perfect. All right. Really love to see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 300. That's energy attachment. That is a Stellar Wish for a welder for the following turn. It really makes sense. Okay, that's enough for the knockout. 150, 250, 350. That's it. That's the knockout. So going down to 3, I'm really lucky because my opponent is not playing so far. Okay, Spiritomb. So Spiritomb can definitely hit for 100 at this moment. So he's missing 2 Zigzagoons for the knockout. And there are the Zigzagoons. But as it looks right now, I think I'm probably going to be forced to finish this game with the Reshizard. So Reshizard will probably carry me out of this. I think it will. So there is no point of putting Blacephalon in fire, but I might even go with it, but I think I'm probably not because I do have Reshizard. So I'm really thinking about just powering Reshizard, hitting my opponent with the Outrage, and then simply Boss's Orders his Crobat for the Double Blaze GX and for the 2 more prize cards to simply win the game. So that is going to be the play. Will he find a way to somehow resize my hand or not? I don't know. Maybe my opponent didn't expect to see Blacephalon matchup. And it looks like that he is not playing Marnie due to the consistency with the draw support he might have. But I also didn't see a Risa stamp as well. Those Crushing Hammers probably gonna make my opponent lose this game. And probably MVP in this matchup will be Reshizard. So let's first go with the Dance of the Tribute. Fire Crystal, perfect. I personally think that the less cards that I use, better for me. And I'm not going to need this Blacephalon for sure. And I do have Boss's Order sitting in my hand. So Outrage, enough for the knockout, and I'm just Boss away from the win. Turbo Patch. Will there be a surprise? I don't know. I didn't see Turbo Patch so far. So if I see Turbo Patch right now, I'm probably just going to start crying. Well, there is a Crushing Hammer, but he needs to flip 2 heads in a row in order to simply be effective against Boss's Orders. Otherwise, the game is over. So Pookie come for the Crobat. Into Crobat. Really trying to thin the hand as much as possible. I do have Switch, which means I could potentially just, switch back to my Blacephalon if he stays with the Eternatus in the front and go for the knockout. Another Crobat. So he goes... Oh! Rose! No way! No freaking way that he pulled the Rose from his sleeves. Oh my goodness. That's epic. I completely forget about Rose. You gotta be kidding me there. Oh my goodness. What a nice play that was. Whew. Okay. Okay. Time for the game tree. Death Rose. So the Crobat was his last basic Pokemon in the deck, but he also drew the Rose for the knockout. You gotta be kidding me. Seriously. Okay, so at least right now I know what I can expect. It's a game number 3, it's a best of 3. I should win this game. But simply it happened. I was pretty much looking for... I mean, the game plan was okay, but I didn't expect Rose, you know. I didn't see it in the game one, so he simply surprised me there, and it is how it is. It is how it is. Maybe he bricked right now, but he won't probably, because there is a great ball. And there's a Hoopa as well. Sometimes you don't know what you can expect. If my opponent didn't have Crobat, the last one that he placed and play, it would be pretty much a GG, because I did have that boss's order sitting in my hand that I simply pulled from the prize cards. I also had enough resources, probably even for the knockout against Eternatus, even if he stayed with him in the front. It is how it is. As simple as it is. So, Poké Gear for nothing. I mean, I can swing for Nako to the Fireball Circus, so why I shouldn't do that? There's no way he can stop my Blacephalon right now. There's nothing that hard that can swing. I mean, there's a Hoopa still. But it will require a lot of resource as well. So research for 7. If you can find Hoopa. And 3 more Zigzagoons, or maybe Zigzagoon and Scoop Up Net, he might be able to do something out. If not, I'm looking forward to take another prize card here. But I'm also looking for the Dena play next turn, so I can refresh my hand as well. Without too many thinking, going for the Dena play. I need only 2 energies, so I'm okay. So that's a Fireball Circus for another knockout. Alright, there we go. I didn't want to risk nor gamble, so I attached 3 more energies to second Blacephalon. So I'm in a pretty good position right now. Really I am. I also have some energies in my discard pile. I might even have more than that. I do have Jirachi for Switch plus Oricorio. And yeah, pretty good looking so far. I hope that it will stay that good as well. So 1 more energy attachment goes for that Eternatus. Crobat for 4, so he needs to find Eternatus VMAX, otherwise this game might be over. Then from Zigzagoon, I'm still not seeing Eternatus VMAX coming up in play. Spiritomb, 10 damage. Oof. There's a boss's orders, probably going for a Oricorio. And it is. Okay, oof. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, another energy retrieval. Means I can go for like 150. I could go for 200 if I get lucky with Spinner, yes, but even worse. Oh. I could even get myself a heart in play. So rather gonna go with a heart. Because with the heart I can get a knockout against his Eternatus VMAX. And I think it is safe to say that the game is over. Really, really bad luck for my opponent. I can't believe that I'm drawing so good. I really feel bad for my opponent, Brick. But that's Eternatus VMAX. Simply as it is. There's only one thing I'm gonna say. It happens, yeah. I mean, I play Eternatus in real life. I also played a lot of Eternatus VMAX games on TCGO. I played a lot of different versions with Sableye damage spread, with Hoopas, with Crushing Hammers, and simply it's not how it is, you know. You always miss something. It's the same thing with Blacephalon, but in this matchup, in this specific matchup, Blacephalon have a little bit of advantage due to the price exchange. But my opponent might be able to buy himself time here, a little bit of time, due to the black market. Not actually sure is it worth even to waste energy attachment for Spiritomb. To be completely honest, I think it's not. Because you cannot take a price card, you waste energy attachment, you're not getting nothing with it. It's not, definitely. So, another Eternatus, we probably trading for the Crobat, or maybe VMAX. He put this Eternatus this turn in play, so he cannot evolve. My turn. I can take Knockout, because I do have Fire Crystal. And I'm also gonna put that Cramorant in play with energy attachment just in case. And Fireball Circus for the knockout. So I'm going down to only one prize. Whatever happens, and there's a welder, I can always use this Cramorant as advantage and Beak Catch for something. Also, if I get lucky, and if my opponent puts something like Zigzagoon or something in the 160 HP range, I'm just gonna need 1 energy for the Cramorant Welder play, and the game is over. Really interesting game number 2, where my opponent simply surprises me with the ace from his pocket. He simply throw the Rose, and he powered up his Eternatus VMAX, which might even be the case right now. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, at all. At all. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But I'm not gonna even try to bother myself nor gamble. I'm just gonna promote Cramorant in the front, because if he plays Rose, if he knocks my Blacephalon, I'm just going straight forward with that Cramorant play, or I can maybe just promote that Blacephalon, and the worst thing that can happen, I can pay 2 retreat cost, and I'm not gonna gamble. I'm just gonna go straight away with the Cramorant Wii. Okay, this hammer might change things dramatically. Oof, luckily it is a Tails. And there is a Rose. There is a Rose. And the Dread for the knockout. Okay, so basically I'm just short for energy attachment. Will I miss energy attachment? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm drawing 6 cards plus the top deck, and there is Energy Spinner, so... Did I throw Ordinary Rod? Yes, I did. Do I have energy? Yes, I have the last one. Whew. Just in case, there is a spit shot for the knockout against that Spiritomb. Alright, that was definitely intense, dramatic till the end. But that's the GG. Blacephalon managed to power it up to overpower that Eternatus VMAX deck. Congratulations to my opponent. I somehow managed to get to the top cut of this tournament. Thank you guys for your time and for the watching. We'll post more videos as well as the deck list. Have a nice day. Until the next time, we'll see you again.